huge difference with TNA Tryouts and WWE Tryouts, just professionalism really, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like light years difference. It was completely different. D'Lo was great. He was great. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic at what he did and gave us really good advice. WWE, there was William Regal was conducting it. Robbie Brookside was there, so there's already 2 legends there. And then Finlay was down and Jamie Noble was down as well.
And tell me, was Brookside or Regal on their phone?
No,
a few rows back
absolutely not. No, they were watching the Hawk, Regal in particular. And we got, I don't recall his name, but one of the WE's referees was in, because we all had little matches as well. And it was a physical, they gave us a good physical workout as well.
That's what I'm trying to say. Look, so with the trials of WWE, the phone joke was cracked at TNA with Jarrett pretending to be interested in his phone. So they wanted to find potential talent.
Yeah.
I suppose the crowd was just, we would just get someone to do the ring for us, like, you know?
Yeah.
So to go back to the tryouts, initially when I used to get tryouts for lads back in the day, you would ring the office. You'd have the number, you'd ring the number, or you'd email Johnny Ace or Simon Dean. What was Simon Dean? Mike Bucci, Tommy Dreamer and that when you were in there. Then it changed.
Mark Carano.
And then Drew McDonald was, remember at one stage he was in
UK
charge of getting
relations.
So everything went through Drew McDonald. And that's how Supermodel got his tryout, through Drew.
Yeah.
Eventually. I'll go back to that a little bit when we're talking about after your tryout. And then, but after that, Robbie Brookside took over the Drew spot, didn't he? And that's how you actually got your...
Yeah, I think I was like one of the first groups to be brought in by Robbie Brookside. I'd never met Robbie personally before that, but I'd done shows alongside Frankie Sloan. So, I think it was...
That's his cousin, isn't it? I think it's some... I don't know if she's real cousin or...
They were tag partners for a long time.
We were around together a long time from Liverpool.
Yeah, the Liverpool lads. Yeah. And Frankie was really cool. I liked Frankie a lot. He was, again, a really good locker room leader. Lots of good advice. And I just stayed in contact with him, and he recommended me, I think, to Robbie Brookside, and then that's when I got my trial, which I was.
So, how was your tryout experience with WWE?
It was really cool. As in, it was in the O2 Arena in London. So, is there a bigger, better venue to do it, which is more intimidating? And it was obviously TV taping, so there was full roster was there as well. So you're obviously there and you're in your suit and you're being as professional as possible, and you're seeing all these guys who you've idolized from your little kid, and you're trying to keep it together, and because you've got to get in the ring, and like I said, and there was a bunch of other guys that had tryouts as well, and oh boy, some of them were really, really good, and some of them were maybe not so good in terms of their wrestling. You could tell they barely wrestled at all.
There were so many guys who were good.
Tango, Tim Wiley was there. I thought
for Brian Dixon, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was really, really good.
Wasn't he small though?
Yeah, he's probably about my height, maybe a little bit smaller. But he was really good. There was a guy from South Africa, Slade Mercer, I think is his name. I thought he was really, really good in the ring, and he was a tall guy, and he had that South African accent. And then there was a couple of guys who were there was two guys who were twins, and they were super jacked, big bodybuilder guys. And I think they were literally rolling out the contract with them as soon as they seen them. And there was a football player. I think he was a goalkeeper for a Premiership team at one point or something. But he was a huge big tank. And I think
that's not that guy that's there now. Riddick, is it? Riddick something?
I don't know. I just know he was a football goalkeeper, and he was in incredible shape. So it was really interesting looking, because I was in good shape, and the likes of Tango and people like that, in good shape. But then you see these guys who are like, they look like they
and good shape.
And yeah, you're like, whew, you can see that's like the WWE prototype. So it was almost like they were looking for like, we're going to go half wrestlers and half just people that have the look, if that makes sense. Yeah. They were looking at both. I remember strangely at my tryout, so the tryouts, they had the physical thing. You had to work a match, and then you had to go backstage. They took some pictures of you, obviously for the records, and then you went and you lined up outside a room, and then you go into the room one at a time, and you'd cut a promo. So you'd have to. So I thought that was really cool that they were looking at various different aspects of what you do, not just what you were doing in the ring, also that you can talk as well. So I thought that was pretty cool.
How do you feel it went for you on the day? What was your best part in ring, promo? How you carried yourself?
The in-ring stuff is like, tryouts are just so short. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, you've 3 minutes. So, you can only do so much. And like, to me, if someone's like, you got 3 minutes, well, you go in the ring and like, what do? You can't really tell that much of a story in 3 minutes. And I'd like to think is by that stage, I was a good worker. I'd been seasoned so much that I could get in and I could wrestle and I could tell a really good story, but it's kind of hard to do in 3 minutes, especially like, my thing was I could go in and wrestle and tell a story, but you need a little bit of time to do that.
Well, I suppose for them, like,
they want to see if you got it.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat.
And if you're on TV, you could have a match that's 2-3 minutes long, so it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to fit everything in,
Yeah.
I do think it was just timing with you. It was just bad timing.
I had someone comment, one of the people there, they were like, "Oh, you're getting on a little bit." Like, I was 29 at the time. I don't think I was that old. Like, was it maybe 29 or 28? I was around that sort of age.
And tell me, we'll go on a bit with there, but did Sheamus do anything to help you out that day, being a former Irish Whip champion?
I bumped into Sheamus in the back. I think during Raw, I think he'd finished his match or something. He was backstage, and I bumped into him and I said hello, and I think he remembered me. He was there when I was there. We were doing our thing.
Ring announcing his match.
Yeah, yeah. I think he was gone shortly after.
Yeah.
And he was like, asking how everyone was doing in Irish Whip, and he seemed really pleasant, and he asked how my tryout went, and I thought, it was like, I did my best, and that's all I can do, really. And he was like, he'll go away and have a chat to people, and off he went.
What people, like, isn't people who were looking after the tryouts?
I think so, yeah.
And they would come back?
No.
At least he said hello.
Yeah.
So, you were telling me a story on your way out, then you bumped into some influential people.
Oh, God. Yeah. So, I kind of knew I was rounding things up, by the way, here. So, in terms of wrestling. But I was leaving, and, when you have your WWE Tryouts, you have your nice suit, which was very ill-fitting because I was not used to wearing suits. And I've got my little trolley bag, and I'm wandering out of the O2 Arena thinking like, I wonder how that went. And not sure. Trying my best. Can't do any better. I looked down this little corridor, and, the bottom of the corridor, there was 3 figures standing there. Triple H, The Undertaker, and Vince McMahon. And they were all having a conversation together, and I was like, I got nothing to lose now. So I just trundled my little handle down and introduced myself and just said, thank you for the opportunity. And, I know it's a golden rule that you're not really supposed to approach Vince, but I didn't have anything to lose. Yeah, the Undertaker was cordial and nice and pleasant, and Vince, very nice, cordial, and Triple H was looking at me like, security. So
you obviously didn't leave a lasting impression.
I think they'll remember me, but probably for the wrong reasons.
Maybe for 10 seconds.
Yeah, but
The next security meeting, you're not doing your job.
I already knew. I knew, like, I'm not really supposed to do this, but I'm not going to lose. So. I literally got to the flight home, though, before I got my email, my dear John, that thank you for trying, but no thank you.
At least he told you, in fairness. Like,
Yeah.
Anything like really what you apply for, like, you get a yes or a no, but at least you know where you stand. Like,
Yeah.
As opposed to like with TNA, oh yeah, we're interested in that guy, Next year comes around, tell him to come back. It's like, it's either yes or a no, like, but it's nice. And again, like we said, with your background in combat sports, mixed martial arts, you have that maturity. And I do believe myself, and to this day, I always think it's better to bring somebody, if somebody's even has a background in rugby, do you have a mindset? An athlete's mindset, and then you can work from there, like,
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a bit of a two-way street, people who love wrestling and passionate, but sometimes you have bad habits when they come in. And so if I owned a corporate company of that level, I would hire people that would bring that caliber
do what they're supposed
athlete
to
in.
do. Yeah.
So it's not all.
You can see why they want guys who are young and trainable, rather than people that have their own preconceived notion of what they should be doing.
No, in saying that, I've had my deals with WWE over the years, and sometimes they do come across as an indie mentality. Sometimes, depending on what department you're dealing with, like WWE obviously is it's a global business, and all different types of people are wrestling and non-wrestling. But sometimes when you're dealing with some departments, it's like you're dealing with the indie wrestling still. But at the end of the day, I found with WWE as a promoter, when they were on top, when they were popular, independent promotions did well. You'd bring in, like, a Eugene did very well for his Kid Cash, sell tickets, so forth. By the time Kevin Thorne came in, you could see the change. Kevin Thorne wasn't at the level of exposure on TV, even though he was quite impressive, and again, he was good to have over. But he was at that level where WWE wasn't as popular as that stage it had been previously.
Yeah.
It obviously went down over the years, where now it's not as popular. But when they did well, everybody did well. And it's the same in England. Like, so Brian Dix and Scott Conway would say the same thing. When WWE did well, they did well.
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, the WWE, whether directly or indirectly, does or was at one stage helping to put money in people's pockets, like,
Mm.
Yeah.